Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, joined as always by the legend himself, Mr. Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
What the? Why? Hello, everybody. Oh, you are so in the right place today. Deep breath. Christopher, can you take it away? Can you tell them? Don't keep them in suspenders any longer.
Today we have a very special guest, Kari Wahlgren, and if you've ever played a video game, you've heard her voice among many, many, many other characters. I mean, your resume doing the research was just incredible. It was like, what?
I
was scrolling for like 2 minutes straight, and then I still was in like the 2018s. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we had to put more paper in the printer because
that's because I'm 100 years old, boys.
Yeah, minus 70.
Minus 70.
Well, you look good and you sound good, and we're glad to have you. Thank you so
for
very
joining
much
us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Very cool. I see you, and I see you not unlike myself. I'm in my booth, although yours is actual real. But you're at home, and you got your own studio.
I'm in my studio,
right?
and I'm kind of obsessed with it. It's fairly new, and it's a Studio Bricks, and I just love it so much.
Wait, Studio Bricks. Now, what I feel like I'm missing something. What is that?
It's a brand. It's a brand of like home studios that you can order. And I guess I think they make them in Spain and then they ship them out of New York or something. And when I was looking to kind of upgrade, I heard a couple people say, "Oh yeah, Studio Bricks is really great," and I've loved it. I've loved it. So I feel very fancy.
Well, I love it. You know, here we are in California. Everything comes from here. And where do we have to go? To Spain.
To Spain.
You know, would not have seen that one coming.
Wouldn't it? That was not the first place that I would have been like, where should I get a voiceover booth?
Yeah, home studio. Oh, Spain.
Spain.
No.
Yeah. Note to all the fine folks out there that Spain.
Yeah.
They're great.
Well, that's good.
Big fan.
That's a wonderful thing. Well, thank you so much for carving out some time here for us today. I've just been looking, and I think one of the most interesting things that we looked up on you is that you were just May Parker, as in Spider-Man's, not grandmother, isn't it his mom or his, it's his aunt, Aunt May.
His Aunt May. It's a huge, iconic, character in the Spider-Man universe.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I was geeking out a little when I got the role. And the strange thing when I was starting to record the series is they said, I think you might be the first actress to play Mary Jane Watson and gosh, I just blanked out her name, Gwen Stacy. And Aunt May and Gwen Stacy's mom in all these different iterations of Spider-Man. So I'm very honored.
That's you're it now. You're in the Spider-Verse.
There's nothing, I don't know. Where do you go from here?
I don't know.
In the Spider-Verse.
Beep bop biddy up boop boop bop. I figured I'd give you some of that.
But I feel like
in the dark.
Right? Yeah. Marissa Tomei did such a great job in the movies, I thought. So they were kind of going sort of that direction or that kind of flavor.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, this makes you officially the second hot Aunt May.
I'll take it.
Because she was like you're Marissa Tomei plays Aunt May. No, that can't be right. Now you are, and so I go, well, I guess it's a new trend. Here we go. The hot Aunt Mays make way.
Funny, like people have been saying in interviews and stuff like that. Does she keep getting younger and hotter and every
yes.
And I was like,
apparently,
I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to take it.
If you say so.
If you say so.
He gives it. Little old me? Oh shucks.
Listen, I just have to sound young and hot.
That's true. Oh, well, okay. Well, so the looks are a
Easier said
bonus.
than done.
We'll take it.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
Voiceover.
Were you a comic book fanatic growing up? What was your exposure to comics growing up?
Oh yeah.
What was there?
I was such a nerd. And I say that with a lot of love. they would have these big compilation books of comics, and they had one of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And I checked out the Wonder Woman one so many times from the library that the book fell apart.
Wow.
And then I couldn't find it for decades. And then this thing called eBay was created.
I've heard of it.
The book had gone out of print. And the first thing I ever purchased on eBay was I found this out of print.
Oh, wow.
Of Wonder Woman comic books that I had checked out.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dozens and dozens of times as a child.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a big Wonder Woman fan. I read a lot of X-Men growing up. I read Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Batman. When I got older, I was really into Birds of Prey, which I loved. Gail Simone, she wrote a really fantastic run on Birds of Prey that I was a huge fan of. So yes. And then I could go on and on to the things that I got into later. But yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, same here. Same here. In fact, we were just talking about earlier about my mom throwing out all my old comic books, my first Fantastic Four, first Spider-Man. Yeah, I know. Everybody makes that same face when I tell this story. And I just told her, I went back home when I was about 30, and I went up to the attic. I'll tell it again. It's so painful. But I said, gee, Ma, I can't find that trunk with all the comic books. And, oh, don't worry, hon. I gave it away. They were having a thing, down at the church, and everybody was real glad, so that's good. Oh. And I'm thinking, well, there's first Spider-Man, first Fantastic Four, first Avengers, first Captain, not the first Captain America, but the first one when he came back out of the ice. I'm sorry, I have to go lay down now.
I'm literally nauseous for you, Jim.
Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, man. Coming from a girl, too. I knew I liked you. She gets it. She gets it, ladies and gentlemen.
This is painful. This is a painful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go on then to collect any more, or did you find yourself reading other ones?
Well, yeah. I still do. But what I go to the comic book store down there in Burbank, and they know me well, and I go in and I just then I go across the street and have a Philly cheesesteak and read 2 or 3 of them and call it lunch.
That's a good lunch.
Yep.
Is it House of Secrets? Is it House of Secrets in Burbank?
Yes. That's the one.
Great. Yeah.
Everybody's going to be crowding around over there. The Kari Wahlgren comes in. You know that. All we have to do is sleep here for like 8 weeks, and we're bound to see her. She's got to come here sometime. The secret is out. You'll pay a terrible price for that, my dear.
Late at night.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember your first time meeting each other or working together?
Oh.
I think I do. And I can't even think of the show, but I remember I want to say Fred was there, or maybe Steve Bloom. And
was it possibly a show called Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go?
It might have been.
Could have been.
Because that was my first series regular for Disney. So, Jim, that might have been it, because I was thinking of things that were later, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
and of course, I knew of Jim for a really long time. Like, Jim was legendary.
I showed up earlier. I showed up earlier than you, that's all. But
you've been around for about 2 years before I came on the scene.
Yeah, there you go. 2 or 20, whichever.
Yeah.
Well,
my gosh, right. It probably was Super Robot.
Yeah.
Were you doing a villain? You must have been doing a villain.
Yeah. I go back and forth.
Zombie.
Sentient
zombie.
Sentient, yes.
That's not.
Yeah. Now, see, whenever you hear the word sentient, you know it's a Marvel.
Isn't a sentient zombie just a person? Isn't that like the whole thing that separates a zombie?
That's true.
Chris, I feel like you've really touched on something.
Could be.
I'm going to be thinking about that way too long and hard after this interview is over.
Sentient. Wait. Yeah, that's definitely a Marvel word, though.
It is,
because that's the only reason I know what that means, because of Marvel Comics.
Jim, I will say, I mean, and I know that you are so well known for many, many, many things, but your work as Boxman in OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, was some of the funniest work I've ever seen you do.
Well, good. We like that. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
I do. I'm curious as well.
Yeah. Good old Lord Boxman. He was crazy. And they just let me go nuts, and I always enjoy that.
Yes. They were one tiny bit of scenery, chew it the crap out of it, and Jim would just feast.
Yes. Make a feast of it. It's true. Well, I think that's what we're hired to do, don't you think? Mm-hmm. You know, we were talking about it earlier. You know, if you there's, like you say, if there's a piece of scenery, chew it, eat it.
In the best case scenario.
In the best way, yes.
If you're hired, I think, by people that trust you, if you're hired by people that trust that you know what you're doing, then they give you that creative latitude. I don't know about you, but I've been in sessions where it's been very, very controlled. And so it got to where it just felt like, okay, I'm just doing line readings and things with my clients, and you know, I'll make that work because I feel like my job is to add what
Bring
I can
to life.
the project. But man, when you get someplace where they're like, we brought you in to be creative. Yeah,
that's mo better.
It's magic.
I agree. No, I agree. And you know, it's like they said a million years ago, it's just tape. Of course, now it's not even tape. But even if it was, you know, we can just go over it, do it again. You know, it's because it's easy. You know, I've said it before. You know, it's easy. It's I think it's better to be too much than to be too little. Because if you've got all the gas in it and it's still not quite hitting the mark, what do you do? So I think you overdo it, overshoot the mark, because it's always easy to dial it back.
That's exactly what I was thinking, is that I feel like it's easier to dial it back a little than to get to a level of intensity sometimes.
Yeah, especially if you think you're maxed out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oops, I don't have any more gas in the tank. Now what do I do?
Jim, okay, this is going to turn into the Kari Brags on Jim show.
Oh, no. We don't want that.
But the other thing that I really loved that Jim and I got to do, and we didn't get to record together, but do you remember doing Minecraft?
Oh, sure.
Which is, you know, the movie right now is super, super hot. But you and I was Mevia the Enforcer, and you were the other guy whose name I have blanked out on, but we were kind of like this schmarmy. It was almost like the leaders of the Hunger Game announcers. And you were so good, and they would play me your lines in my sessions so that I could kind of...
Hadrian?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Hadrian?
That sounds familiar?
Maybe. King Hadrian.
Man.
Yeah.
Jim Cummings as Hadrian.
Could have been. I know I was Mevia.
Hadrian voice, a Minecraft story mode. Jim Cummings.
That was it. That was it.
Minecraft
and you were really good.
Story mode.
Quite something. And they would always play me your lines, and that would make my performance better. So.
Well, good
on you, Jim.
Good on you. I'll take that.
Have you seen what's going on in the theaters with that movie? With the Minecraft movie?
There's like riots.
Have you seen these kids going nuts?
I have not, but I've been reading about it.
I feel like a geezer. Look up Minecraft Chicken Jockey movie theater. And literally, for some reason, when this chicken jockey part comes, like the theater is like ultimate pandemonium. Like the kids are throwing their popcorns, jumping around. Like the theater is absolutely exploding. It looks like WWE, like an audience.
They're having to issue warnings now. Like, if you guys don't, you know, use suitable behavior, you're going to be like it's almost like riots. Wow. They're like pulling the chairs up in the theater, and they're not doing that, but
it's the first time in my life I've truly felt out of touch with a trend. Like I truly feel like a geezer now. I'm like, what is going on here?
Oh my God,
those damn kids!
I feel like a geezer.
Me by.
Oh no, wait, I am a geezer, so it's okay. It's okay if I feel like one. You, not so much.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
The Minecraft movie might have just minted us, Chris. It might be official now.
Pushed it over the line.
That's the day I knew. That's the day I knew I was old, when I didn't get the Minecraft trend.
Oh man, so funny.
Yeah, and it's okay. I wouldn't want to go through all that crap again for nothing.
Actually, and here's a question for you, because speaking of being geezers and such, I've found that in my voiceover career there have been kind of cycles. And so, it used to be even like with the Spider-Man thing, I'd be like the young Mary Jane Watson or something. And now I'm getting Aunt May. I've started playing grandmas on things.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, you sound the same. You sound exactly the same as you always have. I mean, and look, but just for the record, if anybody's counting.
You guys, This is why I came on the show, basically, so that Jim would tell me some nice things about myself.
Well, and I never lie. And I don't lie. So see?
It's all that virgin blood I'm drinking.
Oh, no, that'll do it. You too, huh?
Yeah, see, it's very good for the skin. That's terrible. We can edit that out, right?
It's so hard to find one, though.
I know. In this day and age. Yeah. But all I was going to say is that it's actually been very fun for me to start playing the matron roles. Like I've been playing Aunt May in the Spider-Man universe. I've been playing Ma Kent in the My Adventures with Superman.
Wait a minute, Spider-Man universe? That's Superman universe. DC.
Yeah. So
sorry, I'm a comic book geek.
So for Superman in DC, I'm doing Ma Kent.
Yes, there you go.
Marvel Spider-Man, I'm doing Aunt May.
Oh.
And then with some other shows, like I'm playing a hot granny on an anime show right now on Netflix. Called Dawn to Dawn. It's called Dawn to Dawn.
And what is the name show?
Dawn to Dawn.
Dawn to Dawn.
It's
hot granny.
Yeah, and like part of the big joke is that she doesn't look like a grandma, and she's kind of hot. And so I don't know. I'm in my matron era, you guys, and I'm loving it.
A likely story. Yeah. Well, it beats sitting at home.
It beats sitting at home.
Unless you're recording at home.
Oh.
In which case, that's not bad.
And then it's not bad.
Yeah, no.
Do you have any in studio sessions these days since COVID, or is it mostly just recording alone at home?
We were talking about this earlier, and most of it for me is at home these days. And I find that even when I go in person, usually it's just me and everybody else is on Zoom. Every once in a great while, I get to do something with other actors, and then it's almost like a frenzy of, oh my gosh, people, hi, tell me, how are you? Oh my goodness, like it's. I almost get overwhelmed with social. Yeah. Like seeing people in person, it's crazy.
Yeah. I so prefer it. I mean, I really, really do, because I've said it before. Acting is partially reacting. And if there's nothing to react to, there's nothing to react to. And people wig out a little when I tell them, we did, I want to say close to 100 Darkwing Duck. And Terry McGovern was my sidekick. I was Darkwing, Drake Mallard, and he was Launchpad McQuack. He lived in San Francisco the whole time.
Wow.
And we did one show, the very, very first show. Terry McGovern and I were in the studio together, and that was it. To this day.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. And
that blows my mind.
Yeah, I think so too. And they would record me, and they would often, from what I understand, they would play my line for him to lead him in, and then that informed him, and I guess it was because Darkwing was the loudmouth on the show. That I'm sure it was total coincidence I got the role, but anyway, it gave him something to play off, and it worked. It worked like a charm.
I mean, it can work. It can definitely work, and especially when someone is very, very talented, such as yourself.
Like Terry.
You can make it work from home and remotely and by yourself and everything. But I do miss, every once in a while, there's just that discovery that happens live. Like somebody will just accidentally improv something or say something in a certain way, and then the person sitting next to them will like mimic them. And it's just something that happens super organically because you're in the room together.
That's right.
Or you'll get some idea and you'll say, oh, you said it that way. Can I try this? And I miss that.
Oh gosh, me too.
So
me too. Oh, yeah. It's, and I'm very lucky. We're doing the only thing I'm doing on a steady basis is Mickey Mouse. It's either Funhouse or Clubhouse or Outhouse, something to do with something that rhymes with mouse. Anyway, and Kelly Ward is our director, and he's very good. And he almost reads me into certain lines because he's got it in his head and he's got it, and so that helps.
That's great.
Having your voice director there. They're not
lovely.
all Andrea Romanos and Gordon Hunts and Sue Blues and
oh my
and Kelly.
gosh. Yeah,
Kelly
you're
Ward,
naming all the heavy hitters there.
Yeah, all the guys, right? Now, who did you, let me ask you this, did you ever, because I can't remember when they took it down, Hanna-Barbera, did you work at ye oldie Hanna-Barbera ever?
No, it was right before my time, I believe.
Right, okay. Yeah, because it's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
It's been gone.
I just missed it, which was a shame. But I was able.
I got to work there a few times. I was very glad for that.
I would think so, right?
Yeah.
Is there any place that you haven't worked?
Sure. I can't think of one right now, but well, I can tell you what was interesting when they knew the end was near for Hanna-Barbera. The people that worked there. Now, if you can imagine this, knowing what we know now about memorabilia, about, people's love of, there was a prop, there was a this or that. Well, they were getting these old acetate, and it was the really heavy backgrounds that not just the regular, because Hanna-Barbera was very limited animation, as many people will know. The Flintstones, the Jetsons. It wasn't full-blown, it didn't look like The Lion King, put it that way.
Right.
And one day, we were going, when they were kind of shutting down, people were getting these big, thick backgrounds, like from the Flintstones or Jetsons, flinging them on the ground and then running and jumping on them and sliding down the hallway and scraping the hell out of them, destroying them.
What?
Unbelievable. And nobody knew, and I didn't think of it at the time, or else I'd have had as many as I could carry. And, and people were sliding on them, and then they'd throw them in the dumpster. Dumpster.
This is the second time in this interview where you have almost made me vomit.
Oh,
so that may be a new record, Jim.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night. I'm out of here.
Good night, Mrs. Calabash.
No, that's terrible. Like one of my biggest regrets is that I never got just like a tiny little piece of the Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Building. People were saying, "Oh, yeah, people are doing little pieces of the sign or." Something like that. And I have really good memories of recording there. And I wish I would have just gotten something,
Yeah, right. Just the reception desk. That's all,
Right? just some of the post-it notes or something I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's so true. Well,
that breaks my heart about the Hanna-Barbera building.
Oh, I agree.
Because those should have been saved and put in a museum somewhere.
Oh, some kind of Smithsonian. Some damn thing or another. That's crazy. Oh, no, I agree. It hurts my heart.
I have a question for you. Growing up, what was your ambition in the entertainment industry growing up? Was it theater? Was it acting? Did you always know that you wanted to do voices? What was it specifically?
You know what? Voiceover.
Yeah.
Voiceover was on my radar very early. Apparently, my parents said that when I was 5 years old, I said to them, I'm going to be the voice of a Disney princess one day. I'm going to be the voice of a Disney princess. And they were like, oh, okay. And I was recording my voice on tape. I was mailing it to people. I wrote, this is kind of Jim, I don't know if you've ever heard this story either, but when I was in junior high, I think I was in junior high when Batman the Animated Series came on, and it was very influential to me. And I would rush home from school to watch it, and I would see Andrea Romano's name in the credits.
Yes.
And I was so blown away by that show that I went to a bookstore and I looked up the Warner Brothers address, and I wrote her a letter. And I said, Dear Andrea Romano, I just want you to know that I think your voice directing and casting on Batman the Animated Series is amazing. And one day I hope to be a voice actress, and I'm going to move to Los Angeles, and I really hope that we get to work together. And decades later, I got cast on Ben 10 at Cartoon Network and walked in, and she was the director. And I
oh my gosh,
said hello, and then I had to walk into the studio and try very, very hard not to cry because it was such a full circle, overwhelmed
so moving,
moment.
Of course.
It was so, I think I've always, of course I'd love, as a theater kid and stuff like that, I have thought, I'd love to do TV or I'd love to do Broadway and things like that. But voiceover has been on my radar since I was itty bitty.
Wow.
And it's
me too.
always, has it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was 5.
Are you kidding? Okay. So I haven't heard the story. You gotta tell me.
No, well, it's pretty simple. There was the Jack Benny program.
Yes.
The old comedian. And I was 5, and I was sitting there watching it with my dad, and Mel Blanc was a regular on the show, he himself. And he came out, and I see it like it was yesterday. He had on a sombrero, and he had a serape, one of those things that goes across, and a 3-piece suit. And he sits there, and he comes out, and he says hello to, Jack Benny says hello to him, and he goes, well, hi, it's lovely to see you today. I trust you found your way to the studio well. See? Good. Well, my name is Jack, by the way, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, sir? Cy. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. And I see that you've come here by sombrero or whatever. And he goes, so? Okay, never. And it's and you can see where this is going.
Right.
And he went on and on and on. And my dad goes, you see this bastard? Yeah, everybody was a bastard, sort of, kind of. Yeah. He goes, he's a fella that does that Bugs Bunny. That Tasmania in the Daffy Duck and all those characters with the foghorn and the thing, and he's does those voices on Saturday morning, because back then everything was on Saturday morning, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, I'll do that.
Wow.
I'll be him when I grow up, because all I could think is he didn't have to stand in the corner for being weird and having doing crazy voices, doing impressions of kids and neighborhood people.
Okay, question for both.
Worked out.
Did you ever get the teacher report in school that said you talk too much?
I only got that. Yeah. Ding 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 ding.
Ding ding
yes,
ding.
That would be me.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. Were you in speech? Because I was.
I was
in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shock.
Did you do humorous interpretation?
That was me.
You
humorous
were
interpretation.
Oh
yes.
my gosh!
What a scream!
What a scream! Yeah, I did HI. I did the dramatic.
You did cuts from plays, just to explain it to people.
Yeah.
You show up and you do like little scenes from famous movies, from famous plays, from famous fill in the blank. And I did Guys and Dolls, which was an old movie. Green Pastures, a really old movie. And No Time for Sergeants, another old movie. And, of course, they had to be, because I was in high school 40 years ago. They had no choice, but they're at least that old. And so, that's what I did. Yeah, and it was great. I got a lot of first places, and I was thinking, well, I do this stuff for free. If I can figure out a way to get paid.
Isn't that wild?
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So, and now here we both are. What about you?
Yeah, same. Like I went all over. I'm from Kansas originally, so I competed all over Kansas and won state in a few things and had gone to nationals and like, I think placed in the top 10 at nationals. And that was kind of cool.
No kidding.
And yeah.
Is this Hoisington, Kansas?
Hoisington was where I grew up there.
It says so right here on my paper.
Oh my goodness.
And the interwebs would never lie.
But I do have to give a shout out. I do have to give a shout out that high school, junior high and high school, I went to Great Bend, Kansas, which was the next town over, which was a little bit bigger. So my speech career was with Great Bend High School, and I have some lovely friends and had a very lovely Sally O'Connor was one of my drama teachers, and Mrs. Watson was my speech teacher. So they were very, very good to me growing up.
Well, Mother Rosemary went to Catholic high school. She was my speech teacher. And not unlike yourself, we'd go to speech tournaments every Saturday somewhere around town. And sometime we went all the way to Columbus, and which was not
Ohio?
near Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
Yep. And it was great because I would go there and I would get all number ones. I mean, I'm not bragging, but I did, big. And then I would go back to class and leave my pencil on the desk when I left. So I got an F that day. And I'm getting my picture in the paper. My mom, bless her heart, she had a big scrapbook of all these pictures, and there's pictures of me, and I've got all these blue ribbons and what have you. And I just couldn't get over the fact that I went there, won a speech tournament, got 3 first places out of 3 attempts, and then failed speech. How the hell do you fail speech?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's like failing gym anyway. Did you show up? Okay, well, you probably got a C.
Did you open your mouth? You were fine.
Yeah. So I failed speech?
Are
you sure?
Speech. Jim, can we just really highlight that in this?
Yeah. I got F's.
You failed speech.
I don't think I failed. Like at the end of the year, it was probably just, and I made the mistake of telling teachers this, and it was a very big mistake with algebra. This good sisters of the Ursuline tradition, they didn't understand this, but Sister Ellen Rose, I can remember saying, Mr. Cummings, I don't get the impression that you're trying at all. Algebra. And I said, well, I'm trying a little, but I'm only trying to get the lowest D possible because that means I still passed.
That means I still passed.
I see. That's good information. I got Fs. She just gave me Fs to make sure. Oh yeah, and then yeah. Oh yeah, and then I had to take it in summer school because you had to advance, and then I failed in summer school.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I took it. I'm the only person I know who did this. And then summer was like over, and I go, "Are you sure? How about a terrible D, bad D?
Yes,
ooh,
negative, the most minusy D minus you can get."
And you go, tell your story walking. And and having a teacher who used to date my cousin, who she broke up with him, I think I took it on the chin for some of his resentment towards my family. I was like, wait a minute. I wasn't even there.
The tawdry tale of Jim Cummings.
Yes, it's a sad, sad state of affairs.
So
can we change the subject? I'm having.
I hate to ask this, Jim. Did you end up graduating? Can you talk about this?
Yeah, okay. I did because junior year I took business math in summer school, and so I had it just in the nick of time. And let me see, I had Judy Tarantino and Marilyn Perry do my homework.
Okay, that's funny.
So, yeah, but it worked.
You batted the baby blues.
Shout out,
like,
yeah,
all right.
shout out to them wherever
Shout
they
out.
are.
Shout
God
out
bless
to
you,
them.
ladies. Yes. So,
I will say, I'm gonna sadly add to this that math was not my strong suit. Like I was a pretty good student, but once it got to like algebra 2, tough stuff, and geometry.
Yeah.
Tough stuff. So I really kind of hung on by my fingernails and just got through the math that I had to get through.
Yes.
And then, the rest of my AP classmates are going on to trigonometry and stuff like that. And I'm like, nope.
Thank you.
I've done what I am required to do.
Yes. And I always figured there are people for that. There are people that are making their living doing that. And now we've got phones that now nobody can do math for real.
Yeah.
I mean, because why would you?
Sad.
Why bother? Yeah, ask your phone.
Sad.
Your phone knows.
Well, and now apparently they're teaching math differently. So I don't even know if I'd be able to explain it to somebody now.
No. Well, I wouldn't even bother.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I thank God every day that I was lucky enough to get a career in voice acting, because my math skills were not going to get me.
And oddly enough, I can count the hell out of money. I can do that. The cash, ding, 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 ding. That I can do. That I could do.
Nice, Jim.
Yeah, but not if it's like regular numbers.
But if the money is traveling to the bus station at 20 miles per hour and there's another stack of cash.
Yes.
I'll be there
I'll be there with a large bag for both of them.
I'm going to jump in here because I'm really intrigued by your career. And a lot of the people that we have on this podcast who are voice actors, you kind of start to recognize like circles of like who is hiring them. There's like the anime people, there's the video game people, there's kind of like the adult cartoon people. And looking at your career, you've kind of infiltrated like every single one of those circles. I mean, with American Dad and from that to then Disney to then, Mortal Kombat, you're in all these different franchises. And literally, like, I'm looking through and I couldn't like name a major video game franchise in the last 2 decades that you weren't part of at least. And so, from my knowledge of kind of a little bit behind the scenes, like you must be a very likable person or you must have an amazing agent or both. Because and she's very talented. Able to navigate all those different, because they're circles of people. I'm sure you both know that, it's circles of people, and not a lot of people get to experience all those different circles, but it seems like you have. And I'm curious what led to that. I mean, it's very impressive from my viewing. It's like kind of crazy that you've kind of had your hands in all these different pots, so to speak.
Well, first of all, thank you, Chris, because I think that's kind of the nicest compliment that you could have given me. And you're right. Like they are such different worlds. So, I do know a lot of people that primarily work in video games or primarily work in anime or primarily just do U.S. adult animation. And I have been very fortunate to get to work in kind of all of those fields. I think part of it was my first big job and I didn't know it at the time, when I first moved to LA, like in my first year or year and a half or so, I was answering some actor ad in Backstage West, and they said that they were hiring for a new animated project. And I auditioned. They liked me. They said, we're going to bring you back for a callback. We just want you to watch these scenes. You're not going to understand what it is because it's in Japanese, but just see if you can kind of capture the character. And I ended up booking that role. And it was Haruko in this anime show called FLCL, which had it ended up having a huge cult following in the US, and still to this day is one of the things that I sign the most of at conventions.
Wow.
So it's been really cool to, over the decades, meet people that were like, because the whole show is a metaphor for a young boy going through puberty. So it's very cool to meet these people that are like, oh my gosh, I was a young boy going through puberty and got introduced to this anime. Gosh. So I don't think that, a lot of my friends that primarily do anime, they're huge fans of the medium and they're really targeted on getting into that. And I kind of fell into it through an audition and then started auditioning for other anime roles. But I knew that I also really wanted to work for Disney and Nickelodeon, and some of the U.S. companies. And so I did hit a point where I was doing a lot of anime, and my agents at the time were saying, listen, we really believe in you, but you're doing those projects so much that we can't get your auditions in for the other things. So I actually
that's a nice problem, though, as far as problems go. You're working too much to audition. Well, okay.
So it was very tricky in my particular case, and this is not everybody's path, but in my particular case, I had to really back off the anime work that I was doing for a while and really focus in on auditioning for these other companies.
Sure.
And so I started to get, a tiny guest spot here and there, and I've, had radio spots over the years and some commercial VO as well. But then I was booking like one or two little guest spots. And then Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go was my first Disney show that I booked as a series regular. But the thing that's interesting is that it was influenced by anime. So I showed up at the first recording session for that, and one of the guys was wearing an FLCL t-shirt.
No way.
Of the anime show that I had done. And he was like, no way. I was totally inspired by this show. So it's been a very interesting full circle thing for me. And then video games kind of started trickling in as well. And then, after a while, after a certain number of years, many, many years, people are like, well, you don't really need to do anime anymore. But that fan base has been so wonderful to me.
Yeah,
and
they're very loyal, right?
They're so loyal. And so I really try to at least keep my foot, like one project whenever I can. And, just even if it's some woman or passerby or kid in the crowd or something, I'm like, I want to be able to just kind of keep my foot in there just as a thank you to that fan base. So I don't know, knock on wood. And we record it very differently. The recording process for anime is different because everything has been pre-animated.
Yes.
And so you're doing a lot more technical syncing to picture.
Can you describe that for people? Because they're not going to know. They think we just sit there and but with anime, it's quite different.
It's quite different. So the difference is if you're recording an anime show like Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon, those are two that people be like, oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
So it's already been created. It's been released in Japan, in Japanese. So basically we are dubbing everything into English. So I will be in a room by myself with a big monitor and you'll hear beeps and it'll be like beep, beep, beep. And on the fourth imaginary beep, you start talking and you have to fit whatever's in your script into the character's mouth
lip flap
movements. So if the character goes, you can't say, I love you, I've always loved you, and I'm going to love you to the end of time. You have to say, I love you, because that's how it's animated.
Yes.
Whereas if Jim and I do an original recording session for like Disney or something like that, we record our lines first, and then they animate to us.
To that, right.
So it's a completely different way of working.
Yeah, very different critter.
Very different. And video games, some of the franchises, it works both ways. Like sometimes you're recording it first. Sometimes if it's something like Final Fantasy or something that's come over from overseas, sometimes you're doing syncing up to mouth movements. Sometimes they're like, we're going to reanimate the mouth, but you still have to fit it into the timing of the game. So you have 4.8 seconds to say this line. So if you say the line and it's 5.3 seconds long, they're like, you got to do it again. And it's got to be. So my training in anime actually really helped me a lot with those types of video games. So I don't know. It's all been a weird, wonderful kind of mixture.
Have you ever had to do performance capture or motion capture?
Yeah. And that's a whole another level now with video games.
Unbelievable.
And I am old enough. Jim, I don't know if you've done tons of motion.
I'm old enough.
Have you done motion capture? Have you done much?
Actually, just recently.
Just recently?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I remember in my day, many years ago. So motion capture has really evolved. And at first, when they started doing it, they would glue little tiny balls onto each of your fingers and all over your face. And then you'd have the suit on with all the sticky balls all over.
Yeah.
And it was very time intensive. And if you had to go to the bathroom, you'd go to the bathroom and you would get toilet paper stuck all over those little balls on your hand. So they were just like, please don't have to go to the bathroom for the next 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Because they'd have to like take them, unglue each one of them off, put them back on. But now they do so much more of it with like, you know, lasers and lights and, you know, just actually dots with a marker, and then they can go back in. Like the technology of that has evolved so much.
That is such a weird thing. I remember years ago, Tom Kenny and we were doing Cat Dog, and I was cat, he was dog, and we appeared on a live. How do I even say this? It was live before an audience at a huge convention, and it was as if it was kind of the match game, if you remember that. There were people on stage, and Cat Dog was, whatever the tense would be, one of the contestants. So we had all these weird little things all over our face, and we're sitting next to each other because, you know, they're connected by intestines. Who knows? Don't ask me. And and we're sitting there and we're just Touretting away and going on, and we look out there, and it's like a half second later, and it's doing our faces and doing our this and doing our that, and it was the damnedest thing, and it was live. That
is
was
incredible.
The kicker. That was the kicker, and we got through it, and I can't wait to not do it again because wow, that was nerve-wracking.
Oh, but between you and Tom Kenny, I would have paid good money to see that. I bet that was.
I don't know where that ended up, but
oh my gosh.
Somebody, let us know. We send it in.
Yeah, we got to dig that up. That story's come up a few times. We got to find some.
Yeah,
it's got to be buried in the internet somewhere.
Internet to me.
Let's call Tom. We'll get him on the phone right now.
Actually, we need Tom on here too. Tom, if you're listening, I know you are. We know you are.
Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom. Your adoring public needs you.
That's right.
So you do a lot of these conventions. Yeah, you travel around the country doing these Comic Cons as well.
Yeah, I used to not do very many. Like I would maybe do 2 to 3 a year. And in the last year, like last year and this year, I've started doing a lot more, which is lovely, but also, boy, I'm tired.
It's a weird energy to talk to all those people.
That's a young person's game.
Oh, tell me about it.
No, it's not. But it's a wild scene.
Yeah.
Who would you say your most popular characters are that people come up for? Let me guess. Katana has to be one of them.
She's been very popular. Katana and Melina. There's equal.
You did
Mortal
Melina
Kombat.
as well.
I did.
So did you do all those eating face noises? Is that you?
Oh.
Or do they bring in somebody who's an animal?
I mean, I'm sure some of the things that I'm sure that they added some special effects because, you know, the sound of me sucking out a spine is probably not as gruesome as what they can. Oof. But yeah, with those video games, they would just be like pages and pages of, oh my gosh, of reactions. I will say,
yes, I know.
The one story, I can now say it because the game is out and everything. So the one Mortal Kombat story that I really remember is that my last studio was just down in this little basement, and it was a little soundproofed room, and I would record down there. And my dad was visiting me from Kansas.
Oh boy.
And I said, "Oh, Dad, I've got to go downstairs. I've got to do this session." And so I did the session, and I walked up the steps out of my basement, and I opened the door, and my dad's face was just white, like just white.
Oh no.
And I said, "Dad, are you okay?" And he's just like, "I could just hear you screaming, like screaming and
my little
just
girl.
Agonizing pain downstairs. And it's all I could do not to run downstairs and check and make sure you were okay." And like, I still get kind of choked up about it because he was like really distraught. And I said, Dad, it's okay. It was just a video game.
They paid me money to do that.
They paid me money to do that, Dad. It's fine.
Lots. Yeah.
But yeah, so he was really upset.
Well, that's sweet.
That is a weird thing about psychology and performing, isn't it? I remember I was on this one TV show and I had to get I was a burn victim, and they had to give me 3 hours of makeup, all over my face, even put half a bald cap on because my hair was all melted away and everything. I thought it was super cool, getting the whole makeup done and everything. But then what really shocked me is looking in the mirror, and I had this weird psychological effect. I was fully aware I'm uninjured, but looking in the mirror, my body almost was trying to go into shock mode. I knew fully aware that I'm fine. It's just makeup. But seeing my reflection and so gruesome and gory, it was almost like my body was wait, we're looking at ourselves and
that's interesting.
You're hurt. You're
reconcile.
hurt. And it was this weird, little disconnect. It wasn't an existential crisis or anything. It was just this weird little tiny, fly feeling where it was oh, I'm a little uneasy looking at this.
Did it fuel your performance?
I think so. For sure.
Yeah.
I think any kind of nerves or, anything like that, anticipation or anxiety, I think that always plays into I think it plays into a performance for sure.
It would have to. Oh, God,
but I just remember what a weird feeling that was, and just kind of how your dad was reacting. I mean, that's still his daughter, screaming or whatever, even if it's not real, it's still that visceral reaction to, somebody's in trouble, especially my family.
Exactly. And Mortal Kombat is one of 2 franchises I could think of where they just don't play around with their death.
I mean, they're trying to make it as gruesome as possible, right?
Yeah. There's just 2 or 3 game franchises I've worked on where the death scenes and the injuries and the reactions and stuff like that were really intense. There was one where we were sipping water to get the sound of choking on our own blood. Mm-hmm. And
that's so sweet.
Just gargle this up.
Yeah. So you used water, not ketchup. So I used that
on my dating profile, and I met a really nice guy. And no.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that's painful.
Do you ever? I mean, I do have those moments every once in a while where I'll be doing something and I'll be like, "Wow, this is not a normal job that we have."
Yeah, it is not a normal job. I remember eons ago, my daughter Raleigh, she was 5 at the time, and her cousin Zachary was a huge Ninja Turtle fan. Well, I'd just taken over the role of Shredder. James Avery took off to do Fresh Prince, and so I was Shredder light, and we thought it would be fun. My wife, she said, "Well, you should make an audio tape for him, and we'll send him a little cassette, And so Raleigh was saying, "Well, here I am, and I'm going blah 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 blah. Oh no, here comes Shredder." So I come on and audio, and I go, "It's right, Zachary. It's me, Shredder, and I'm holding your cousin hostage. Raleigh can't come to the phone right now because I'm, And I look around and she's going, And she's crying. And I go, honey, no, it's okay. And so I had to be Winnie the Pooh. And that pulled her back down to earth. So she just bought into it. You know, you never know the power of these, you know, you hear something and it's a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, and I thought, okay, we're never doing that again in this lifetime.
Now, here's a question for you. And do you find that, especially since you've done some very beloved children's characters, that up until a certain age, sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't? So, like,
yes.
Because as a voice actor, I mean, it's not like being a lawyer or something. You don't necessarily go up and, hey, you're a lawyer, give me legal. You like,
right.
Everybody, when they hear you're a voice actor, oh, do a funny voice, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's always like perform.
Yes.
And I always feel really badly when it's a parent with their kids because there's a 50-50 chance that the kid's either going to be fascinated or really freaked out.
Yeah.
Or like not get it.
Or you know, and I've had them, you know, it'll be like a young parent, you know, they'll be 30 and they've got a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old and they know Winnie the Pooh or Tigger. And they'll say, can you just do a little Winnie the Pooh for her? And I said, well, I just hope that she's having a day as sweet as honey. And it's just, you know, oh, brother, and this, you know, and that, and the kid starts going.
That's
they're
amazing.
Looking all around. The last place they're going to look is this old guy standing in front of them with the beard going, what did you eat Winnie the Pooh? What's happening here? You know, why do you sound like Winnie the Pooh? They don't even look at me.
It's so funny. I have a friend and she does a lot of boy voices. And she said that one time, you know, a young parent had her do the voice for one of the kids and it was a little boy. And the mom was like, oh, do the voice for my son. And so she did the voice and the little boy was devastated to discover that this little boy character was played by a woman.
A girl thing.
It was just like, what? No.
Yeah.
So-and-so is like a little scrappy 6-year-old superhero boy.
Yeah.
And it was just like jarring for the kid.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, oh man.
I'm not gonna lie, we had Veronica Taylor on here. She played Ash Ketchum when I was growing up, and like even like with all the knowledge and everything, like hearing her in person do that voice, it just sent me. I was like, what? Like, how is that sound coming out of your mouth? Like, that's like, no, that's Ash Ketchum. That's not you. What?
Yeah. I choose grappling hook, or you know, whatever, you know.
Right.
I
mean, hopefully
choose
by the time we get to a certain age, we're like, yeah, that's a great skill.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like there's always that inner child, you know, there's always that inner child reaction that you have.
Oh my gosh.
At least for me, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm a big
So
fan
have
as
you
well.
guys ever, it sounds like, Chris, that you were a little bit, maybe a little starstruck by that one. Have you guys been starstruck by a voice actor, or was there somebody that, this encapsulated the voice of my
For me,
childhood?
I was kind of fanboying over Zachary Levi when we had him on. I really enjoyed the show Chuck when I was in college, and I thought it was so cool. And he was like such a friendly. That's another thing too, when people are like friendly and like David Hayter too. I was a huge fan of the Metal Gear Solid franchise and Watchmen and the original X-Men. And like he's such a friendly guy, you know, and like I'll see him at conventions and like, Jim, Chris, come for dinner with me tonight, you know, like we're going to get some sushi, and like always can just like, you know, there's some people who they're more friendly than others, you know, especially when you see them at a convention, like maybe we've done a podcast or something and they're just kind of like, you know, like I'm the assistant, you know, it's like, you know, whatever. And I get it, you know, it's like I'm not in with the talent and everything like that, but it always is like reassuring, even like working on set, you know, I worked on numerous crews, you know, behind the scenes on multiple things. And you always remember, you know, the performers that like treat you as a person rather than like a subordinate or, you know, like as unimportant, you know, they have the phrase crossing the line, you know, it's like all those little like industry, I guess, faux pas, I guess you would call them. I don't know what to call it, but it, from that side of things, it's always, you know, like makes me like somebody more, even though, you know, it's just like whatever. But when they treat you like a person, You know, and that's not to say that other people don't. It's just more interpersonal, where it's like, we're peers instead of, a hierarchy.
Yeah. I love hearing the good stories.
Me too. Me too. But the bad stories are always so juicy. You always want to hear one. Like, is he an asshole?
Yeah. And they're out there. They're totally out there.
I'm sure we all have
the good ones at least reaffirm my faith in humanity sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It is so true. And then every now and then somebody comes along and you're thinking, you done one thing well. Okay. It's like if you have one plant. Now, if you've got a whole garden and it's always somebody with I call a one-hit wonder. It seems to be. And there was a person years ago who had a one-hit wonder, and he might have been on a show that was on the WB, and that's all I'm going to say. So now everybody's going to go, let's see, I bet it was, But, and he was a real sphincter to everybody around him. And a couple years later, wasn't on the circuit, wasn't there anymore. And I saw him show up at a show, and I think he came uninvited. He kind of looked, you pick up people's body language, and he's standing there going, and you're thinking, so he had an argument with the guy about, dude, you're not on the roster. You're not here. Your show's over. Sorry. And he just showed up. Yeah. Like, where's my table? You weren't invited. And so, dude. People like that are very, very rare. Just for the record, folks. Yeah. That's one in every 1,000 people. And especially in VO, we don't have.
In VO,
we're not starstruck. We don't have that star mentality.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Because I don't know. I think there's just so much more of a working actor. Like I prefer journeyman actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And as long as you stay grateful, because I'm grateful. Yeah. That's one of the keys to happiness. I've said it before. If you're grateful, you're happy. And if you're ungrateful, you're not happy. So I'm grateful. And I'm grateful you're here. That's for sure. That's fantastic.
Is it weird when people have a crush on your voice? I'm sure you've got that before.
Yeah, and then they meet you and they go, now I really have a crush.
Many cute little characters, sexy characters. I'm sure people come up to you and they're like enamored by just the voice. That has to be a very unique experience.
I mean, with female characters, a lot of times they're also animated or drawn,
Mm-hmm.
they're animated in such a way that it lends
appeal to
itself
the male gaze.
To appeal to the male gaze. So yes, there have been some crushes.
Mine's Jessica, by the way. Mine's Jessica from Rick and Morty.
From Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, Chris.
Who, little old me?
I think it's going to work out with Morty, so...
Don't do it to me, Jessica. No.
You may have a chance. Look, you may have a chance. I just really don't think Morty and I are ever going to work out.
Okay.
But never say never.
They record that show once every 3 years? What's taking them so long?
Oh, it's coming. I can't say anything or assassins will come out of the wall and
I imagine so.
There'll be a blow dart to the neck, but that one's
been
a really fun one to work on over the years.
I bet.
And very collaborative. The first, I think it was maybe in the first season or two, and I was just doing one or two lines for the spaceship, turn left at 360 degrees, north. Mm-hmm. And we were in the studio and I just started saying, I said left. Did I stutter? You idiot. And just started messing with them, and they kind of laughed, and they were like, what if we wrote an episode about the ship being a bit of a jerk?
Yeah.
And so they wrote this whole Keep Summer Safe episode.
That's cool.
Which is one of my favorite episodes. And then they continued to write so many episodes with the ship. And then they came out with a Funko Pop. And it was my first Funko Pop was Rick's ship.
No way.
And it came out of that improv and stuff in the studio. It was crazy.
That's really cool.
So that's been a fun one.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna work.
Yeah.
That's That's why I'm a big believer in stretching. And, I always do, I tell everybody, I do one take as written, and then I do one take the way it should have been written. And then sometimes they use it.
And sometimes they use it. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But usually, unless the writer is also the producer, and then your ad libs are schmad.
And they're like, that's great, but let's stick to what's in the script.
Yeah, and as written, go.
Yeah, all right.
But I
Some
always
more
do that
things you
first.
guys have worked on together. Marvel Heroes video game. Kari, you were Emma Frost and Boom Boom, and Jim was Kingpin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. A little crossover there.
All right.
I look good in a
Tinkerbell
bald
and
wig.
the Pirate Fairy.
Yeah?
Kari was Sweet Pea Sydney, and Jim was Oppenheimer Port.
I was.
Nice.
Are these ringing some bells, or are these just like it was one afternoon for 2 hours?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Unfortunately.
No,
those are hard for me to remember because, if they were on television or the Disney afternoon or something, or, then I get them. But, and since I'm not a video gamer, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
I just don't,
I'm the same. I'm so bad. I'm a bad gamer.
Yeah, and I feel bad about it. Badly when people come up, do the voice. And I go, it's which one?
Which one?
I can usually remember the voice, and I can usually remember some experience in the studio.
Yeah.
Of recording it, but scenes are like hard or
God, yeah. Especially if you're alone.
Yeah.
If you're alone.
You are most of the time.
Yeah.
You are most of the time.
Yeah.
So
and I assume you're probably like me. Don't you prefer having others? And maybe not in your studio at home, but
yeah, I mean it's always more fun and collaborative and stuff like that if you're recording with other people.
Yeah. And I think it just makes for a better project.
I love it. I mean, I am a fan of the group records.
Yeah, me too.
But again, if you look at anime and video games and things like that,
well, that's different.
The whole medium is not recorded that way. So I guess at least for myself, I've definitely found that I can't bank on group recording sessions.
Yeah.
Like I can't use that to.
Yeah, you can't expect it because it
Yeah,
ain't
you can't
happening.
expect it.
Yeah,
You can't expect it. So
yeah, which is a shame, but that's not going to change anytime soon. That's for sure.
probably not. Probably not.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
But
I think it's come time in the show that we do a little voice swap. What do you think, Jim?
So I think
oh
so.
my gosh.
All right, do you
I'm
know
nervous.
this game, Kari?
You'll have
I
to
don't.
explain
We
it to
play.
her.
All right, so it's a voice swap game. So Jim will start off, and he'll give a signature line of one of his characters. Say Winnie the Pooh saying, "Oh, bother," or something like that. And then you'll take that same line, but you'll use a voice of one of your characters to say that same line. And then we'll do vice versa.
Oh,
How's
I'm
that
so
sound?
nervous, you guys. I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
It's your own voice.
All right, I'm ready.
It's all right.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're still going to just be you. So, right? So,
Okay.
hey. Okay, so let's see. Here's which one. I want to get one that I haven't used in a while. Okay, here's a little Tigger for you. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things.
Oh my gosh. Can I just fangirl? All right. As Emma Frost, the
Oh.
wonderful thing about Tiggers is that Tiggers are wonderful things.
Ooh,
Emma Frost is such a great character.
we like Emma.
I love her arrogance and her confidence.
Oh, yeah.
We like Emma. Okay. All right, Emma. Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay. So, I'm going to throw you an anime one,
Okay.
Jim. So, FLCL, my very first anime ever. Mm-hmm. One of my character's signature lines is, "Kitty, kitty, meow."
Oh, boy.
Oh, who would be good for that?
Maybe Cat from
Pete,
Cat
Pete,
Dog.
Pete.
Pete. Oh, yeah. Okay, Pete. Pete, he is a cat. He is a cat. Okay, so here comes Pete. Here he goes. Kitty, kitty, meow. What?
No, say it like I'm going to be the voice director here. Say it like he's seducing somebody. He's seducing.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Kitty, kitty, meow.
Oh, now that I will buy for $1. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
nice.
Good. Let's do one more. Let's do one more.
Man, okay. Jim, you're starting us off. You're teeing us off, man.
Okay. Well, let's see. Taz does not like honey.
Oh, Taz does not like honey.
Yeah.
Little Susie from Phineas and Ferb.
Oh,
Taz does not like honey.
she's so cute.
She's so cute, but so evil.
But so
evil.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say there's like Chucky in there.
Jim Cummings.
Yeah. You can almost hear that.
Yeah.
I can feel the claws.
Oh my gosh.
that's
Okay,
wonderful.
so do I get to pick one more then for Jim?
You
Sure. Okay.
All right. I'm thinking. Okay, so Granny Katarina from Super Kitties.
Mm-hmm.
One of her lines is, "Fine, Super Kitties, but don't go stealing my look."
Ooh. Okay. Who should respond to that? Fine, Super Kitties, but don't go stealing my look. Can't be Taz. What?
How about the character from a galaxy far, far away?
Oh, yeah, that could be. Okay, Hondo Onaka. Okay. Fine, Super Kitties, but don't go stealing my look.
Oh my gosh.
And look, I look fabulous, and don't forget to remember that.
I believe it.
My buddy Hondo Onaka. Yes. Coming to a theater near you.
Oh my gosh. Now I just want to like play this for another hour. We won't, you guys out there, but now I'm just like, I just want to hear Jim do voices. I just want to hear Jim do a bunch of voices.
Well, she likes the deep ones, I think. I think I picked up on that.
Well, it's because I can't. It's like an instrument.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to the instruments that play notes that I cannot play.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Nicely put.
I'm like, I can't.
I'll be
I can only
carving
go
that
so
into
low.
stone and giving me credit for saying it.
Take it. I give it to you.
Oh, thank you.
That's what really
my
cracked me
gosh.
up about Richard Horvitz. I can't believe how high that guy's voice goes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
can
I just
really,
saw him.
really
I just
get up
saw
there.
him yesterday or the
Oh,
day
yeah?
before
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, I don't.
What a great guy. What a
Such a great
crazy
guy.
dude. I love that guy.
Man,
He's Richard Horvitz.
he is. He is
Yes.
for sure.
And I've done a few conventions with him over the years, a few cartoons with him over the years, of course. And my favorite thing, we were doing a live at a convention a couple of years ago, and he goes, "Yes, I know, and I sound exactly like a middle-aged woman. If I hear one more joke about Maud, I'm going to crawl over this thing and brain you." So, yeah, I know.
I can see
sound
him
like women.
saying that.
Huh?
I can totally see him saying that. Yes.
Yes. Well, he did.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Well, that's a beautiful thing. Now, I have to ask you, is there anything coming up that you want to brag about, or that, because I don't think we've done that, have we, Chris?
We have not.
We have
the
not.
upcoming-
Let's do some promo.
Some upcoming conventions or
Upcoming
games?
conventions, yes. Projects I can't talk yet
Sure.
about
Understood.
anything.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Oh man, I'm under NDAs like I can't believe. But
Yeah.
conventions, I know I'm going to be at Anime Central in Chicago
Oh, that's where it
next
is.
month. I'm going to
Okay.
be at Anime Boston
Oh,
next month. I'm going
Nice.
to be.
And for those of you
gosh.
listening, this is this month. This is May.
This is coming into May. Yes.
Yeah, they'll be listening in
Yeah,
May.
that's right.
correct. May.
Like we were saying.
And there are a lot more coming this year. I'm trying to do as many as I can this year. So I would plug you can find me on social media at Kari Wahlgren on Instagram. I've got a Facebook official page. I'm on TikTok and X just a little tiny bit. But yeah, I post all my upcoming conventions there. So
sweet.
I'll keep you posted.
So throw a follow her way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming to a large convention hall near you.
And we'll see you this weekend in Denver, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Oh my gosh, and I'll see you guys in Denver.
That's right.
It'll be too late for the listening audience at home. But.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry,
And if you weren't there, you really missed something because we were great, probably.
Oh my gosh. Jim, that means I get to give you a hug in person. It's gonna be lovely.
I'll take it. I'll be there.
All right.
Bless
done.
you, my dear.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
What a pleasure. I never go this long on podcasts, and I was just having a very good time. So
well,
we
good.
Appreciate it.
Well, we are both very, very, very grateful.
Oh,
Thanks for taking time out of your day, my dear.
Absolutely, and I'll see you this weekend. And
Sounds
just let me
good.
know if you guys need anything else.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys all for watching.
Okay.
That was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Today we were joined by Kari Wahlgren. Thank you so much again for being here. If you guys like this comment, please be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. It really helps the algorithm recommend you more videos like this, helps us know what you guys like, and everybody wins. If you like this content so much that you want more of it, guess what? We're on Patreon as well. That's right. You can find episodes a week in advance. You can find bonus episodes. There's giveaways. There's signings. There's all that good stuff over on Patreon. So go check us out. If you want some merchandise, Jim Cummings Closet on Shopify. You can find Winnie the Pooh t-shirts, Darkwing Duck, all that good stuff. And be sure to check out Jim's new movie, King of Kings. Just recently came up, getting good reviews, getting great reviews. It's a blast. I mean, Pierce Brosnan, Uma Thurman, Oscar Isaac, all-star studded cast, and of course, Jim Cummings. And with all that said, I think that's about it. I'm producer Chris, Jim Cummings, Kari Wahlgren. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.
Beautiful.